No, honestly, that is nonsense. Nonsense. All nonsense.
They say many garbage things.
You don't know what you're going to get.
Melodrama upon melodrama!
This is a total,
Shameful, disgraceful piece of nonsense!
He was miles off it yesterday.
You'll learn a lot more if you listen rather than talk all
Plenty
the
of
time.
time, no problem.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to a No Nonsense podcast. The Premier League is back, and it has everything you can want and more. New signings, unbelievable goals, racism.
It's all to play for.
Everything you wanted, and some things you didn't. It's all here. Plus, we got a look at some Irish players, which it's not always a good look. It looks like it might be a very long season for some of them. At Brentford, but we'll get into all of that today. But the reason we're all here is because this is the year everything's back. Football is back. Premier League is back. Will United Arsenal is it back? Is the rivalry back to where it was, where it should be, or is it gone and never to be returned?
It did still feel like a big game. Again, we say this all the time about Man United, especially, where it did feel like everyone I know who likes football was watching again and talking about it as it was on. But the game itself, it didn't really feel heated. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there was a lot of fouls and stuff, but not in a like, oh, both teams really want this way. More than just like average game. Do you know what I mean?
Lacking some quality.
Yeah, exactly. I wouldn't say they're going out there like, we're going to kill Man United today. We're going to kill Arsenal. It's more just like, all right, game like any other, lads.
Yeah, I didn't mean to do that. I was just a bit late in the tackle. That's why it was such a bad foul.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
I mean, it didn't feel ill-tempered, although there was a few like, oh, that's definitely yellow, which they never seemed to come. I think there's 2 yellows in the game. One for Dorgu and then one for Raya, who was time wasting. I think that's right. Maybe Calafiore got one as well, but there wasn't like an ill-tempered kind of lots of bad tackles. I think there was bad tackles, but it wasn't like say an ill-tempered game.
Not ill-tempered, but I will say, I don't know if you saw this stat knocking around. That was the second most fouls Arsenal have committed in a game in Arteta's tenure.
Yeah, well, listen, they were put under pressure, big time. And I think if you were saying this before, and a lot of people were saying this, United have no Europa League, they have no game midweek, bar the cup games, which you can just, play whoever. I mean, they've won like how many cups in the last few years? They've done that, now it's time to win the league, I guess. But I was kind of dismissive. I was like, well, that only counts for teams that are actually good. You still have to play the games, But if they go out and play the game like that every week and they play hard and they are committed and no one's injured and, you can have your best team go out and play it that way, like you will, you'll win most of your games. That's like, if you can do that. Now it's hard to do over 30-game season, even if it's just one game a week. But like, that's what Stoke used to do. And they finished like 10th every year. And this is a lot better team than Stoke. I know people like to make fun of them, but like, there's a lot better players here in this Man United team than whatever was in the 20 people of Stoke days. But they literally turned Stoke into like this awful place to go. They played hard. They lived a bit on the edge and didn't have a ton of quality, but it was literally half the battle. They got mid-table every year by just coming out and playing hard every week. So yeah, that is probably where United need to be at. That's probably how they need to do it. They can't be like, nah, we're better than that. It's like, you're not. You need to actually go out and just like earn every single point you get. So it's weird because they lost, but everyone's like more positive about Man United than they are Arsenal for that game.
Oh, 100%. It's such a strange one as well. It does feel like this is the first time in years now. I know not to enter false dawn territory, but it feels like the first time where I've seen a Man United game. And because it's so long until the next one, because there's no cups or European football around, it does feel like, that's annoying. I feel like we're onto something here. I want to see it.
Oh, you want more games midweek?
I want more Man United. It's been years since I've said that.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely a big game for Man United because, as I was saying beforehand, the preview show, there's like 4 teams that they're definitely going to lose to, a couple teams after that they probably should lose to, and then a host teams that, like Brighton, who definitely will beat them for whatever reason, And they were hearing, know nothing podcasters like ourselves talking at this because we know they read everything, they hear everything these days. So, like, you go out to Arsenal, which is one of the teams that everyone says, well, you're not going to beat them. They're going to beat you 3-0. If you do lose 3-0, like, that does set the tone for the whole season. Like, well, see, they're useless. So they really had to come down and lay down a mark, like, okay, like, we might be better than these teams, but we can go out and compete with them. And I think Amron said something like that, because we've proven that we can beat any team in the league. Like, after losing 1-0, it's a straight, I don't know if it's like the greatest PR thing in history by, Man United and Sky, like a combined effort to like that. Actually, Man United basically won that game. And people are like, yeah, they did. Like, they lost 1-0 and they're like bottom of the table.
I was thinking this too, because I saw that clip going around and like it was very much shared by a lot of the Sky Sports and TNTs. I think with the idea of like, get a load of this guy. He thinks now, he's saying they could beat anyone. Didn't they know they lost? But he said so much crazy stuff last season that I felt like this didn't even register now. He's kind of allowed to say whatever he wants.
Yeah, I don't know. There's just so much belief after that performance where, they almost scored. Is that, I don't know if that's like where the expectation now is.
Yeah.
And maybe that's correctly where it should be after last season. But I honestly, if I won't take away, it's a testament to the Man United fans. And something else I said, well, I know I'm patting myself on the back a lot in the first 5 minutes here, but I did say the ones who are left are real Man United fans. After like 10 plus years of this, the ones left are the real delusional ones. You're like, yeah, I think this could be the year. So you have to one little loss, like, we're back. We are so back. It's not even funny.
That because I saw as well, like again, another mad stat, like the Arteta or the most fouls for Arsenal. That was the most shots United had against Arsenal since the 8-2 game back whenever that was. So that's a long time. Like you said, I don't really feel like they came close to scoring at all. But it was it was just the vibe on the pitch. It was like they feel like they can score though.
Well, like last year with United, there was two there's one peak, I guess, when Ten Hag left. But either side of that, there was the end of the Ten Hag era, which was like that Liverpool loss where Arne Slot came out and described in detail how he beat them and how easy it was. Like, that was like, Jesus, there's just nothing left in this team. They do not want to play for this guy anymore. He has to go. And then by the end of the first Amron years, like, they can't kick snow for rope. We're going to lose to Tottenham in the Europa League final. It's going to happen. It's going to be awful. The valley after that peak, having shots, not at Ontario, having shots at all. It's like, wow, this is more like it. Yeah, and that's literally all they needed. More like it, not like it or it, but just more like it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it wasn't the only one, but I felt like watching Cunha burst through the midfield and just do flicks and stuff was like, oh my God, I forgot what it was like. I forgot what it was like to just enjoy watching a batch of players.
Well, let's go to that, because there was, as I mentioned, new signings on both sides. There was Mbuenu, Cunha, and Sesko for United, and Gyökeres and Zubimendi for Arsenal. Am I leaving anybody out?
Maybe, but those were the big boys.
They're the ones who played, I think. I don't think I'm missing. There was a few, obviously, like of say Mason Mount or
Madueke.
Madueke. Sorry. Well, yeah, I did forget about Madueke. I think he probably did the worst of everybody, because he only came on as a sub, and he had that chance at the end where Odegaard did great, Saka did great, and it was like everyone was tired. It was one of those against run of play where really would have been, this is what champions do, this kind of playing badly, you get the goal. And Madueke came in, it was at an awkward height, but he didn't header it or kick it. He kind of jumped up and like hit it with his navel, which is like, lacking the L composure there. That's all that was for a finisher. And that was kind of his main contribution. So he probably did the worst. But there wasn't as much pressure on him as there was Gyökeres and Sesko, who have, honestly, I feel like they've been abused for months leading up to this.
By both sets of fans, by the way, because both players were first linked with the other club. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So Sesko was going to Arsenal, Gyökeres was to United, and obviously both sets of fans were like, United fans, I'm sure, were like, Sesko, yeah, okay, we've got Gyökeres, and that just flips instantly.
Yeah. Once again, this is being laid at the door of Fabrizio Romano and David Ornstein. This is their fault for like, alerting people to this transfer months out. It's like, if it just happened overnight, it's like, whoa, who? Gyökeres? Where's he from? Like frantically Googling his Brighton statistics. But instead it's like, we all know about this guy. Yeah, Portuguese league. I mean, what does that mean? He's got 67 goals, 53 games. Everyone knew everything about these guys before they kicked the ball. And then they come out and it's like, yes, they're shite. Whoo! I can sleep easy and I can tweet about how they look like goofy idiots out there.
I mean, it's an interesting that there was different tactics on show of one, just let Gyökeres start, give him 50 minutes, 60 minutes. He's probably not going to be up to speed, but look, get him out there, get him started. Then United have the opposite. Do not let Sesko start. He's not going to be up to speed. He's not going to look great out there. Give him the big roar for the last 20 minutes when he comes on. Yeah,
well, I knew there was no chance you're going to see Sesko and Gyökeres facing off at the start. It's like, one of them's not going to start. One's going to come off as a sub, hasn't had the preseason. The same kind of stuff that you always see. I mean, Ekitike and Vert started for Liverpool and they won 4-2.
Ekitike ripped it up.
And he came off, but it's like they didn't look like Ekitike out there, the two of them.
They
didn't even look like Chris Wood, to be honest. They looked like Gyökeres and Sesko respectively, which I don't know how good that is yet. So worrying signs for both sets of hate watchers out there who were lambasting each other's strikers. And then you had Cunha and Zubimendi, who I think are probably the big winners. I thought Mbeumo was good, but then Diallo came on. I thought he was better.
Yes, I agree.
So I was like, okay.
It's a strange one because I know the idea is to play them both together. I do think Cunha and Mbeumo their expectations are different because they are essentially coming in to replace Garnacho and Anthony respectively. So if they had an okay game, it did feel like this is 10 times better than last season was, or the season before. Do you know what I mean? So I don't even think they had to do that much. Cunha did do really well, but Mbeumo I don't think he did particularly great. He fluffed a few chances, but it was just like, yeah, but he looks like a footballer. That's good.
See, with both these teams, this is what I was hoping would happen to Liverpool and City. That too many players takes a while to bet in, and now I'm actually, this is what I thought was going to happen to them, but this is actually happening to Man United and Arsenal. That's like, yeah, they're going to need some time to bet in these guys. Might be a few games before we see the best of these guys together, or maybe never. That's the problem. It might never happen. But yeah, it was an entertaining game, I guess. That's probably the best thing you can say about it. Which again, Amran said that was the most important thing to him, is to be entertaining, or no, sorry, to not be boring.
Not be boring.
Which,
yeah.
I mean, he's a tough guy to read, that Amran, isn't he? It's hard to know what his end goal at this team is. But yeah, I mean, there was one goal in the game which came from, you guessed it, a set piece FC.
I mean, it's tough because before the corner comes up, you do think and I think the commentary even said it as well. I think Declan Rice recently scored from basically a corner, just putting it right into the perfect spot. I thought, oh, for fuck's sake, here we go. And then I mean, Bayindir flapped at it, needs to be stronger. But to be fair, he was being attacked by several men.
Well, this is the two schools of thought on us. I don't know if this has been led by Roy Keane or is it just, like I said, two schools of thought. But Roy Keane has a mentality, right? No excuses. Don't be blaming the referees. Don't be blaming, anybody else before you look at yourself first in the mirror. And I think that served him well in his life, But I do think he can be blinded by that sometimes. It's like, yeah, a more kind of authoritative goalkeeper to come out, man and ball, punch it clear. But two things can be true at once,
Yeah. I think Raya literally did it later in the game. The same thing happened at a corner against Arsenal.
Yeah.
He just was strong. He was just able for it.
But this Arsenal didn't invent the guy who interferes with the goalkeeper. That's been happening for years. Usually you have a centre back or somebody to kind of bodyguard the goalkeeper. But I think that if you do get caught by someone and there isn't somebody, because the video there where he has a hold of Mount, I guess he was meant to be the bodyguard, which wrong guy to do that, to be honest. He got a hold of Mount and the goalkeeper. He's pulling them both back into the goal, and then the ball's already going in, and California kind of steals the goal really more than anything. But honestly, if he'd just gone straight in, it would have been more obvious. Well, obviously the goalkeeper held back. If he didn't get, not even headed in, he went straight in. So that probably helped. But yeah, do you know what I mean? I just think this kind of like, I need to go out and flap it. But like, you can't ignore that he was kind of being impeded. Now, like I say, it's not the first time, won't be the last time. But this kind of thing of, I need to be stronger.
There are rules, though.
Like, I don't want to talk about VAR in the first episode, but like, what are they looking at? Like, they've obviously had a great summer. They've just completely put football out of their minds, really switched off. And because we'll talk about it maybe as well, there was the handball in the Liverpool game that was just missed. Just like, it hit his arm, but I don't think he meant it. It's like he reached out and flicked it with his hand. Like, just, you can't just accept these things. You can't just, look, that's VAR. Once you do that, once you normalize it, then it's just like, well, I guess that's it forever. We have to keep saying this isn't good enough.
Exactly, yeah.
But yeah, I think it's people do have a thing about goalies being weak and overprotected species kind of thing. I think if it was the other way around, I'd be pretty annoyed. And I'm not annoyed, but I do think it was a foul.
Yeah, and it's tough because this goal happens to Man United a lot because you can do this to Onana and Bayindir. I think it happened like 3 or 4 times last season. But every time it happens, it just does get more annoying because it's like you said, there's the two schools of thought where you go like, he has to do better there. But it's like the 5th time it happens, like, there's nobody watching this. Like, why is this allowed to happen every time? And did you like, by the way, Arsenal's new tactic to maybe help them do that without getting in trouble? Because I think there was talk during the summer that like they're cutting down, and they say this every year, I think, cutting down and like hassling during set pieces. No more like pulling on lads. They always say that.
Yeah.
So Arsenal's new tactic was everyone starts outside the box, and then right before the corner comes in, you all run in, and then you start hassling. You know what I mean? It's like, if you start hassling straight away, the ref's going to point you out and say, hey, you're not allowed to do that. Whereas if you sprint in and then Saliba just makes a beeline for the goalkeeper, it's tougher to see.
Yeah, I was expecting a cut to the smug set piece coach for Arsenal, but maybe that's something that's they're cracking down on, giving him less airtime. I don't know. That was obviously pretty predictable that Arsenal would score from a set piece, but generally I didn't think they were. I mean, I think that Man United had a very good idea of what was going to happen, which was they're going to get the ball to Saka, so get 2 men on him, and Arsenal didn't have a lot else going on there. Martin on the other side didn't cover himself in glory, considering that the other guy was double marked. You had a lot of freedom to do whatever you wanted and didn't do much. Gyökeres, as you mentioned, he was trying hard. He was on the wing at one stage, and he's like overhit across. Like, what are you doing out there? I know you're trying to make something happen, but like, stand in the middle and kick it in the goal. That's what you're bought for. He was doing too much, and he had that chance at the end where he the one good chance he got, and you could see he's like, okay, this is the one. I want to get this ball. Left behind me, and he just he had to go back, and he fouled Casemiro. You could see in his face, he was like, that was a chance. That was it.
I need to relax going forward.
And then, like Sesko or whatever, he came on and his touch was bad, but like, they're lobbing the ball into Mount all day. And then they bring on Air Sesko. I keep seeing this, Air Sesko.
Well, as we mentioned, he can dunk.
He can dunk. And they keep like letting the ball off his shins to see if he can control this. They do that for about 10 minutes, go, all right, this isn't working. Get Maguire on and lump the ball up to him. It's like, he's...
You don't have to do that anymore. The striker does that now.
Like, Maguire's been pretty good in the air. I'm not saying this again, this isn't a new low. This is a tried and tested method, okay? Maguire can do this. But this guy is supposedly more athletic and a striker.
Yeah.
So you don't need to bring on Maguire. You already have a new Maguire. Someone who's maybe even better than Maguire, if you can believe that. I just thought they weren't playing to their strengths, the two of them, for different reasons. I mean, I don't think that the Man United players were. Maybe they thought, well, he didn't start. How can we trust this guy? I don't know. And then, Gyökeres was kind of all over the place, kind of doing all the wrong things. But it was a tough game to come into for the both of them.
Yeah, I mean, like we said, I think on the preview on Man United Arsenal, it's like a whole different world of a game. It feels like where this isn't just a regular Premier League game. It is like this stadium is going to be fucking so tense for the next 90 minutes. Do you know what I mean? And it's your first game as well. It's a lot of pressure immediately.
Well, like when you say that stat of like the 20 shots since the 8-2, it's like you don't need any more context than that for the two fan bases. They know exactly what you're talking about. You know,
Yeah.
like if you could say that not since the 6-0 against Burnley, it's like, which one was that? You know?
Yeah.
It's like there's no like if they were playing Burnley or Wolves or something like that, it would have been easier for a debutant, which we did see from other teams and other players. Should we talk about the Liverpool game? That was the curtain raiser, the opener. Now, you know, obviously we're broadcasters just like Sky. Well, we're basically the same thing, same entity. A little bit smaller maybe, but basically we're basically the same kind of an entity, you know, a massive media conglomerate. But I was playing a match myself that Friday night. I had 8 o'clock as well. But the ref was like 5 minutes late, so it was delayed 5 minutes. And then I didn't play the whole game, so I had to do runs at the end. So that was like an extra 20, 25 minutes. Then I had to go home and shower, get something to eat, get changed, met you in the pub, looked up on the screen. Gary Neville's still on TV talking about this can't go on like this. Now, obviously, you talk about the racist incident, but like I got there, it's like it's been hours. Like he's been on TV, he's on air since an hour before, like since 7 o'clock. Probably been in Sky Studios since like 5 or 6. At 11 o'clock, he's like, "This cannot go on like this." I'm like, "What is he possibly talking about in the first game of the season?" Because I was like, what game's even referencing that what can't go on? You know, because I knew the score was like 4-2. I was like, what's happened here? That what were they found to talk about already? But yeah, I was impressed by their commitment to the open day. They really kind of covered the story, you know, in every angle.
It was, like you said, it was nearly midnight and they were still yapping it up on the pitch. And it's like, it's the first day. You have games in the morning, lads. Like,
yeah.
And we were saying this in the pub as well. Who is this for? Who has watched the 90 minutes and the bit of analysis after and is now watching the post-analysis?
Well, if we weren't watching the post-analysis, we had watched the game. Well, you had watched the game. But, you know, you don't need all that analysis. But if you didn't watch that, if you've been kind of had enough of Gary Neville and Jamie Carragher for one night, you might have missed a really, probably the toughest opening day interview I've ever seen. Because Slot comes over looking great, you know, in his blazer, 4-2 winners on the night, and he goes over to Kelly Cates and Gary Neville and Jamie Carragher on the pitch. First thing he's asked is about the racist incident that happened, which is like, you know, when you think of where he's at, you know, well, this you can't ignore it. You can't just like sweep it on the rug and go, well, that was some unpleasant scenes. Let's move on. You gotta have to. Because he talked to Semenyo, but like he was probably like talking to his press after, like, tell me everything that I need to know about this, because I'm going to be asked about this. He talked about this press conference and everything, but he goes over first and he talked about the racist abuse, and then like he mentions something about he gets asked the racist abuse, hands that pretty okay. He stumbled over a couple of words. He's like, I'm not sure that's the best word to say in English, but there was nothing bad about it. Then Kelly Cates goes, you keep going on about all the players you've lost, you know, despite all the players you've signed. And Slot's like, well, I maybe mentioned it like once. It's like, and she goes, well, I've heard it more than once or twice. So instantly she's like, so you're complaining and whining already, Slot. Is this going to be a fixture for the whole season?
Are you going to be on about the fucking 12:30 kickoff soon? Is that you next?
But like, whatever about, you know, managers complaining, but like he's saying about the players he lost, and she's like, yeah, you've mentioned a couple of times, like, yeah, when their players died. Do you know what I mean? So he first gets about racism, then he's like being like, you keep moaning about Jota. I mean, Jesus, when are you going to let that go? And then in talk about that, Jamie Carragher goes, hang on, I just heard you say something tactical and I want to break that down immediately right now. I was like, this is an interrogation about like really tough things going on. And then he says some kind of throwaway line about like, look, I don't know if you have the tape or not, but what we were doing is we were pressing people up. And he goes, actually, we do have the tape here, Slot. Here's the tape. And instead of actually showing, like, you know, they have the reversing and pausing, it starts doing like a slideshow. Like slideshow of, and he's trying to like explain this while Carragher's interrupting him saying, listen, man, I was in the press box. I had a better read of it than you did. I think this is what you should do. And there's a clip here at the end of it which gets a bit intense. Where Slot, like, 'cause I think Slot does enjoy talking about tactics. We saw this last year when he was talking to whoever it was about how he beat Man United. He was really like, I think he's an X's and O's man. You know, he really enjoys that. And when he comes out on the pitch, he really likes seeing his creations come to life. But he was getting a bit, he was starting to exhale pretty loudly by the end. He was like, all right, you know. But there's, we'll play the clip here.
I mean, I was up on commentary, maybe even got a better view than yourself. I think there was 7 or 8 players in the box when the score was a 2-1. Are you sort of encouraging that, or would you be furious with that?
No, depends on where the players of the opposition are. If they are standing over here at the halfway line, it would be stupid for us to be there with 7. But if they go with all players back in their own 18-yard box, we need to have a rest defense in order to be close.
Say that worries me a little bit.
What?
When you say that's the team that we are, with so many bodies going forward. Am I allowed to say that? Sorry, boss.
No, you're allowed to say this. But then you need to support a team that's going to play with 11 players in their own box. I prefer to see this. But I prefer even more to see not being counter-attacked. That I agree on. But I like it that our players like to play football. And I think last season we were a joy to watch. Like, for example, Paris Saint-Germain, who do similar things like this.
Yeah, so a bit of a tense moment there where he's basically saying, like, you know what? When you catch him there, and then he like kind of backtracks and he goes, "Yeah, we're just playing, you know, good football like PSG. We were all kind of talking about last year. That's kind of the best team." I mean, you know, he handled it very well, I think. And at the end, there's the last 20 seconds of that interview as well. I mean, you should probably watch the whole thing to get the whole thing, but the last 20 seconds is really great too.
Arne, I will say, when we came here this evening, I didn't think you'd get support from this corner and criticism from that corner.
It's not
but
criticism, it's constructive.
Kelly, he played under Rafa Benitez. He had 4 defenders that never moved. He had 4 midfield players that never moved. He had 8 behind the ball every week.
And won the most famous Champions League final of all time.
Listen,
and I spoke to Benitez and he said that's only because of Jamie, because he has to play in big spaces. He has a problem.
Arne, listen, we really appreciate you coming
Oy. What the hell is up with Jamie?
He won't forget that. He will remember that the next time they have a bad game. He will. I mean, do you remember that one where it was like an interview with Gary Neville and Van Dijk, like a very kind of cozy interview where they were like, you know, a bit of jokes, a bit of insight, you know, and they're asking, "Oh, do you think Jamie Carragher would make this team?" And he was like, "No, definitely not." And everyone laughed. And then it was like 6 months later when Liverpool were going through a bad phase. He's like, you know, he said I would make this team. I think I fucking would. Whatever he said at M&F. Like, it was like, that was months ago, and he's still on this thing. So, yeah, you could see here where he was like, yeah, the greatest Champions League final ever. He was already kind of
relax, man. Get your back is way up here.
And that was before Slot made fun of him. So you can imagine how fucking fuming he was walking off that set. Like,
but it's just so strange because, like you said, those post-match things, especially first game of the season, don't say anything. Just go, "Oh, good results, tough game." The Jota stuff, you know, not a nice tributes and a great win in his memory, and racism stuff was bad. All right, Slot, see you later. Like, you don't need to be going like, one thing, you need to fix this or you're fucked this season, mate. Like, okay, Jamie.
Yeah. I don't know. Well, I guess we always accuse these guys of being partisan and supporting their own team. You can't accuse him of that there. He was really, you know, making him like expose his tactics for the rest of the leagues. Like show us how you play. Show us what you're doing here. It's like, why would he do that? But I think Slot kind of hung himself as well because he likes that. He does like talking about that kind of stuff. And I think maybe halfway through he was like, "Oh, I'm in deep on this now. I'm going through the tape live on TV of how we beat this team, giving everyone else the blueprint of how to beat us. Like, this is not what I thought was going to happen." I would be surprised if we see him doing one of them again this season.
Yeah, at least
I think that was a mistake.
Yeah, because like again, he's probably done quite a few of them where they've been pretty pally and easy. But I don't know, maybe it's like a new, not objective, but just like a new thing from Sky, or they're like, just a quick word, Gary, Jamie, for these interviews, really push some buttons this season. Yeah, we want some clips.
Yeah, we didn't play it there, but like even Kelly Cates pushed him on the players you lost. You keep going on about that. It's like, yeah, like of all teams to push that on. It's like, who's telling them to say these things? Because like I said, before it's all very cozy, it's all very, you know, and like Roy Keane would be like hammering people. And then they come over the table and it'd be all very like, well, this isn't the time and place for that, obviously, congratulations on the win or whatever, like, show me on the tape. Show me where the fullbacks are going. Why are they doing there? What's Endo doing standing outside the ball? It was mental. I've never seen something like that. But yeah, that could be now look, it could be like the referee initiatives where they start off, they make a big statement, big backlash, and go, all right, let's pull back from that and never talk about that again.
Arne Slot said he'll never do an interview with us again. We need to stop doing that. No more buttons being pushed.
It might have been Arne Slot, but it might have been Liverpool's press secretary or whoever attack dogs they want to say, send some strongly worded emails being like, that is completely unprofessional. You completely blindsided us. You'll never get an interview from us again. Bring up contracts or whatever. You never know what could have happened. Because a lot of those interviews are contractually obliged as well, the press conference stuff afterwards. So, but maybe it's in there that they're meant to be soft kind of interviews, and then they do this shit. You might get some strongly worded emails,
Well, like you said, now again, they didn't have the tape, but they didn't have the slideshow ready, which means the boys in the back were prompted. Do you know what I mean? They were told before the interview.
I that's why they had the slideshow. It was like, what do we have?
Go, get it.
No, I think the guy who usually does the kind of analysis and slow pauses and graphics was like, yeah, you can get home. You can go home, man. It's 12:15. And then the guy who was left like, how do I use this thing? All I can do is the slideshow. Why can't I get them moving?
I'm just going to use the snipping tool. Is that okay?
It looked like someone who didn't really know how to use the software, and that's why it came out in claymation form rather than actual Sky Sports graphics. I can just imagine the guy, literally like us, in a pub at the very moment, his 16 missed calls. Like, where are you?
How do I rewind?
But yeah, the game itself was decent enough. Liverpool looked quite good initially. I gave them the benefit of the doubt in the Charity Shield. No, sorry, the Community Shield. I looked it up. It's the community. The charity is an old man thing that we're doing. It's been the Community Shield for years. So, I gave them the benefit of the doubt that they probably just didn't care about it. But the same thing kind of happened again, where they went up, and then as Carragher kind of pointed out, they kind of got at. And Slot says, well, it was bloody entertaining. And it was. It went 2-0, 2-2. And then Chiesa, of all people, coming up with the winner. Salah getting his opening day goal.
Did you know he was still there? I thought that was a loan.
No, I knew because he obviously was very good in the Euros like 4 years ago for Juve. And he was really good in Champions League that year as well. I was like, this is the next big star in Italian football. It's going to be, World Cups and all the rest of it. And he'd been just injured, so many injuries after that. And Juve really didn't want him to go. Because for this reason, it's like, well, what if he comes back? But eventually you have to cut your losses on these kind of things where it's just like, I don't think he's going to be back. So that's why they sold him, because they didn't want a loan. It's like, look, he's not getting better. He's, we gotta sell him on and get what we can for him. So I knew he was at Liverpool for probably a 3-year contract. But yeah, I didn't. He could be one of those players that gets sold and you don't even hear Fabrizio Romano from it, because it's like, yeah, it's over. Dream's over for Chiesa. But he's 26 only? I mean, in his prime. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. If you're relying on Chiesa to get 15 goals off the bench, I don't know if that's going to happen every week. I don't know if you can rely on that throughout the season. So it is a bit risky, this kind of tactic of we'll score more than you. But if anybody can do it, it would probably be either Liverpool or City, I would say.
Yeah, and I mean, it was one of those games, I think Salah had a lot of these last season as well, where for 84 minutes, you're like, maybe Salah's like, maybe he's dropped off now, he's done. And then he'll score and you go, fuck, I should have known. Like, you know what I mean? He can always score. He can score out of nowhere. He did it again. But I do think Wirtz didn't look particularly great. I don't think he's up to speed fully yet. But like we said earlier, Ekitike looked like he's been playing the Premier League for years. He looked amazing. I mean, he was able to do it all. Really good goal, good assist as well. I mean, he just, from minute one, is like, fuck, he's class. I knew it.
Well, we did say that about Salah, that he's not going to need to do all the goals, because you had Gakpo and you have Ekitike, and now obviously you have Chiesa as well, and different players. I also said Wirtz didn't impress me. He didn't impress me much in the Charity Shield and Community Shield. Damn it! I used to say Community Shield. I don't know why Charity Shield is back in my brain. But yeah, he kept getting turnovers, like dawdling on the ball, and obviously people were like jumping on, like, well, you can take the man out of the Farmers League, but you can't take the farmer out of the man. Like, it did look a bit like this probably doesn't happen a lot in the Bundesliga. You're probably not getting, like people come from behind. Like, what are you doing back there? You should all stand in front of me, So he maybe he might take it might be a rude awakening, but he's young. He's not some old man who can't learn any new tricks. He's fine. He's probably just taking a bit of time to get used to it. But yeah, they have a lot of good players, and we'll see, I guess, if this PSG style works in the Premier League for Liverpool. But more exciting games to come. That's what I want to know.
Yeah, I mean that's 2 managers now who said, "Hey, we weren't born. If all 20 managers adapt that approach, we're gonna have a pretty good league."
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'll watch Liverpool games if they're all like that. If they're all 4-2 classics, then sign me up for the Liverpool pass, whatever. Not that that's a thing yet.
No.
I think they are showing more games. Sky Sports, there's a big push on more games. I think I'm not entirely sure.
I will say I watched the Man United game, Old Faithful. I went on TikTok, I went on live, and I found a man filming his TV in his sitting room. It's just the easiest way to find the game sometimes.
That is grim. That is really grim.
He didn't talk during it. That's good. I have seen some where I'm like, shut up.
No, given their commentary throughout, that's good.
Well, it's just they're watching a game with their friends, yeah.
Speaking of watching a game with friends, or friends of the show, maybe. Keith Andrews, is he a friend of the show? Don't think so. He could be, if he wants.
Yeah, we're open to it.
He had a tough opening game against Nottingham Forest. I think you said they were going to flop this season. Is that right?
Yes, I did.
Well, Will, not this week. Yeah, it looks like it's going to be a long season for the likes of Queven Kelleher, Nathan Collins, and Keith Andrews. I was looking up the Irish players who were in the last squad, anyways, according to Transfermarkt, who were playing in the top 5 leagues, Will. Because obviously they're not all Premier League players, but there's some players playing in France. Omar Abdelli is playing in Strasbourg. Not in the squad on the first day, so not the best for him. Who else? Ed Ferguson, of course, Forza Roma. He's playing in the number 3rd league of the top 5 leagues in Italy. But yeah, in terms of the number 1 league, you've got Keller, you've got Collins, you've got Jake O'Brien playing for Everton. And look, I got high hopes for Everton. I think they're going to do well, but there's a case, and sorry, Matt Doherty as well. There's a possibility, Will, where all those 3 teams could get relegated, and that would be like a large portion of our squad now out of one of the top 5 leagues. Brentford looked, it looked like they'd lost players, which they had, and Wizza wasn't playing. He was sitting out, which no one's really talking about, but he wasn't playing. They've also lost Brenu. They lost Thomas Frank. They have the former set piece coach in as head coach.
Yeah, at least set pieces are sorted, right?
Well, I don't know who his listen is, but he's doing a terrible job. That's not Keith Andrews' fault. He's the head coach. It's someone else's job now, whoever the set piece coach is, because they conceded after 10 minutes, something like that. Yeah. Honestly, I saw Nathan Collins linked away as well. So I don't know what Brentford are doing. I thought they were kind of like a mini Brighton. I thought they were like play the numbers, sell them on, get new people in. They seem to just be doing the first part, sell them on and seeing what happens.
Yeah. I mean, they bought what's his name, Dango from Bournemouth. But again, they've lost. They need to replace so many players, and it's not happening quick enough. I did see even before this, I think they're trying to hang on to Wissa as best they can, but I saw he deleted all Brentford pictures from his Instagram and set his profile picture to just a black circle, which usually means I'm out of here any second now. The marketing team is on it, so that's not good.
Someone's told him to do that in an email. That's not his own. No.
I'll just get the Instagram ready. He's not doing that.
Just in case. Worst case scenario, just put the pictures back up. Yeah.
Who'd know?
Unarchive them. Yeah. I'll just unarchive them and say at Brentford FC till I die, or whatever the fuck. Yeah, he's probably gone. Like I said, it's fine for a lot of clubs. You can lose players, and there's always more where that came from. You are in the Premier League after all, so there should be a good source of players from all around. You have a good scouting system, but yeah, I don't know if they've replaced them fast enough. It looks like it could be a very long season for them. Crystal Palace as well. They're in a fucking like they had a boring 0 draw against Chelsea, but 1 goal disallowed by Eze, and I was like, ooh, Eze's last game perhaps for Crystal Palace. Like this is really bad for them. And then Gay as well linked with goal conceding Liverpool. You know, that kind of seems like it's set up to happen. Like that was also your tip for like, you know, what's it called? Dark horse of the season. But if they lose those two, they're a very different side. And I don't know how much truth is in this one, Will, but I've seen Adam Wharton is linked with Real Madrid.
Wow. I saw he was linked with United, all right, but I did not see Real Madrid. Hopefully he hasn't heard the Real Madrid thing and he's only heard the United one.
What do we say is every footballer's objective? As little steps as possible to get to Real Madrid. From wherever you are, it's like this club, Real Madrid. In this case, it could be this club, Real Madrid. You know, he's that kind of metronomic player that everyone seems to want and never have, kind of a Modric or a 2021 Jorginho, if you will. You know, so I could see it, Will. I could see Real Madrid. Why not?
Yeah, and I mean, I did say there, like, maybe he hasn't heard it, maybe he'll just go to United before he hears the United link. But like you said, I imagine every footballer from day one of the summer till the last day of the summer transfer window, just quick call to the agent. Anything from Madrid? No, not today. No problem.
Yeah. Well, I think maybe it all relies on his relationship with Jude Bellingham. You know, if he thought, hey, Jude's pretty cool, maybe Real Madrid might be on. But if the 1 or 2 times he met Jude Bellingham in the England squad, I thought, that guy's a knob, then he might go to United, Will. So there's hope.
Hopefully Cunha didn't punch him in the back of the head or anything last season.
Well, yeah, that may definitely happen.
You'll learn a lot more if you listen rather than talk all the time.
So yeah, fantasy football is also back with some new rules, Will. I don't think we mentioned this in the games there, but you saw that the Tottenham goalkeeper got done with the 8 seconds.
I did, yeah, and they love a new rule. And actually, I meant to say it in the Arsenal United game as well. Arsenal thought they had it all figured out. But if we just block the keeper, then we're going to get a corner, more corners. But they kept trying it and they kept getting told off. No yellow card for doing it, but a few frees to Man United where it's like, we've told you, you're not allowed to do that. You can't just get free corners now, lads.
Stop trying to break the system, okay? The system is perfect.
It's day one. Yeah.
But yeah, there's new rules in fantasy football as well. That's also back for all you fantasy managers out there, players, gamers. The turnover tackles, or defensive contributions, I should say. I thought they did this before with the Kante rule, and they just kind of abandoned it.
I think they did, but see, I think what happened at the time was, I don't think people were as tuned in to fantasy football as they are now. And by that I mean, I don't think people back then would watch YouTube videos where a person would tell them what to do.
Oh yeah, it's gone insane, yeah.
So like back then, like if you saw Kante rule, defensive contribution points, I'd be like, I don't know what that means. I'm just going to pick the players I like, the play for Man United, shut up. That's what it used to be.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up, Will. Because let me ask you, what is your favorite thing about Reinders?
Let me tell you. Because I saw Kovacic was injured and I saw Rodri was injured and I thought Reinders was a CDM. I thought he slotted in there. I didn't know he scored goals.
Everyone else seemed to know he scored goals. I was the only idiot.
Yeah, no, I had no idea. I thought he was like a Kovacic guy. I had no clue.
Because he was 5.5. I was like, yeah, he's a CDM. I was like, you know. And then he's out there playing like fucking Iniesta.
He's unbelievable.
I looked up on Transfermarkt. Do you know how many goals he scored for AC Milan last year?
No idea.
15 goals from midfield. Why is he 5.5 million? That's what I want to know.
Why is he 5.5? It's a great shout. Because I just got in because I looked at my team and I said, I don't have a single City player. That's insane. So I was just like, get him in. He's cheap and he's starting.
Well, the problem with City players over the years was that there's so many of them that they could just be rested for just rest. There'd be no like injury before the game. There'd be no just like Phil Foden isn't playing today. What of it? I'm like, well, he cost me 9 million. That's what of it, Pep. You know,
you've ruined me, Pep.
He's eating a big chunk of my budget to get 0 points. That's what it is. But 5.5. I mean, how can you turn that down? Well, I was the only person turned down. I looked at the league of teams by managers who don't know anything about football, Will.
Yeah.
That's right. I'm calling you all out. You all watch the same FBL, John or Harry or the fuck, and they all told you to buy Reinders, and I didn't, because I do it for the love of the game. I'm not some kind of fucking nerd who watches podcasts about it.
Yeah. We know what we should do. We should change tact.
Yeah.
We're going the wrong way. We should be an FBL tips podcast. FPL nonce, maybe. How about that?
Yeah, there's a few of them. Believe you me. And it's funny because fantasy football has gone the way of video games. In the way that when video games started off first, it was very niche. If almost a bit kind of nerdy. It was like, why are you watching like green squares on a black screen? What the hell is this about? You know, fantasy football, if I'm not mistaken, was like a newspaper thing when it first started. You know, which is like really against the culture of the time of like watching the match in the ground or going to the pubs, like doing homework. You know, like writing down the scores, counting up the numbers. Like just watch the game and have a good time. You know,
beat someone up before the game.
Why get in a fucking scrap? Just make yourself feel better. You know, don't worry about the assists, my friend. But yeah, it goes on then into like when we were in school, and it was, you know, you tell people who you still think you're young, and you tell people sometimes that this is kind of before apps on phones when we were in school.
Yeah, there's a Facebook game.
It was a desktop thing. You got to sit down at the family computer and agonize over John Terry or Vermaelen, you know, who's going to go in this week. But, you know, as it went on into the app form, it became more and more popular. And it was kind of like, oh, this is cool. This adds to my enjoyment of the game. Oh, yeah, how'd you do in fantasy? And then it gets to like a saturation point where now there's guys who are making a living off telling you what players to buy. And it's kind of ruined it. Kind of like video games where it started off niche, became like, oh, this is a cool, I hang out with my friends, we play a bit of PS2, you know, and now it's like, I'm a professional gamer and I'm going to beat the brakes off you when you come across you online, you know, and you play people online, they just destroy you, and then there's like streamers and it's all this kind of like brain rot stuff. It just is too much now with the fantasy football. There's too much people who are involved in this, take it too seriously. Every one of those articles, it's even hard to read. It's hard to understand what the words even mean.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, big time. And I mean, actually, funnily enough, because we were saying how long we've been doing it and how different it was back in the day, I had a Facebook memory pop up today, if anyone's still on Facebook that gets those, from 16 years ago, 2009.
Jesus fucking Christ.
And it was a Yahoo Fantasy status I had put up. But unfortunately, the Yahoo Fantasy thing is gone, so I couldn't click into it. But it was just my team, and it said, what a team. I would pay anything to see who was on that.
Oh,
but
man.
yeah, 16 years ago today, I was deep in Yahoo Fantasy.
I know exactly not exactly, but I have a good idea because I didn't understand fantasy first, so I built like an actual team.
4-4-2, yeah.
I had two centre backs, a right back and left back. I had Modric and David Silva in the middle, out wide. And then I think I had like a defensive midfielder two like CDMs.
Yeah, sit back, you know, keep things ticking along, yeah.
And then I up front, I do vividly remember I had Balotelli, Asamoah Gyan, and Daniel Sturridge. Yeah,
Daniel Sturridge probably raked in a lot of points.
No, this was Chelsea Daniel Sturridge, where he just was so bad.
He was a budget guy, gotcha.
Yeah, but I do remember John Terry and Vermaelen at the back, and I was like, "This is a good team. This is solid." But yeah, look, there's a lot of the stuff that's gone about tactics and numbers and all the rest of it. But one of my favorite bits, and honestly, Will, it's kind of turned into a lost art.
Yeah,
you know, I feel it's been a lost art. It's the naming of the team. It was always a great opportunity to show off how good at puns you were. And I agonize over this every year, and I like look up stuff and I think about it deeply and I forget about it, and I look up other ideas. Maybe I can derive something from it. I think I had a good one, but it was topical.
You did change. I did see you change this year.
I always
want to bring it up.
I always have a template in there. It's like, okay, look, if nothing comes to me, I got this. It's not great, but something will come. It always does. But yeah, I was looking up other names, and there's always the classics, the ones that you see every year. You know, the kind of unimaginative ones. Some people feel like they have to do one. You know, you don't have to do, like, if you don't want to do a funny pun name, then don't do one. So I always respect the ones that I see that are new and ones I haven't seen before. So yeah, here's some fantasy football names that I think are really good. I'll go, then you go. Right.
Yeah.
McLean Machine.
That's good. Yeah, it's good when it's an Irish thing as well. That's like bonus points. I've got Teach Me How to Udagi.
I don't get that one.
Teach Me How to Dougie. Classic.
Oh, sorry. Sorry. That is good.
That one, see, that's the problem with that one. That's why I didn't go with that.
Brennan Jerry's.
Oh, nice.
Brent Johnson, yeah. I like it. Clever.
Mm-hmm. Earth, Wind, Maguire.
Yeah. Charlie XGX.
Yeah. I gotta say, I also have Charlie XGX. That's a great one.
I really like that. That's good. I hadn't seen it before. Yeah, that was really good.
Afternoon Delete.
Well, that's good. Van de Venn diagram.
Nice. That one's more so just words, though.
Venn diagram. Van de Venn diagram. It's brilliant. Rolled off the tongue.
I've got Old Havertz Kai Hard.
That is good. I like the ones that are 2 puns. You know, if it's balanced, it has to be balanced. Thomas the Frank Engine.
Yep, that's good. Yeah, easy. Again, I like when it has the full name in, but separated into the pun. That's great.
Yeah,
that's a lot of work. Good. Yeah. I've got, sometimes they're not always player based. I've got Shut the FA Cup.
Oh, that's good. I like that one. Tesco McNeil deal.
I've got September 11.
Okay. Anything else? Is there like a second bit of that one, or just?
No, it's like it's like your starting 11, September 11.
Settlers of Zlatan. Bit niche, bit of a deep cut, but it's good.
Yeah, that's good. This is an easy one. Beef Sharky.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, beef sharky. One for the Yanks. This one, you kind of have to read it and pronounce it wrong. Any Gyökeres?
Yeah, that'd work. Yeah.
You got to pronounce it wrong, but it's a bit of a reach, but I still like it.
Yeah, I have a similar one here. I've got Gyök Tua.
Yeah, it would have been better
a year ago.
That happened now.
You should have signed a year ago. Yeah.
A year ago, maybe. Yeah. And then my personal favorite, Dara Arioshe.
That is good. Yeah,
that's the best one on my list.
I've got one more as well, actually, which is a cracker. And I will always love you.
Oh, that's good. I like that one. That's very good. Yeah. So if you any better ones than that, let us know. But I don't think you're going to top Dara Arioshe. So yeah, look, I mean, I think there's like Champions League first round qualifications going on this week, in terms of like extra games. But there is the transfer window still open. You know, there is big moves to happen, teams to be gutted and destroyed before the season is over. We'll be covering all that on patreon.com/unknown nonsense podcast. $4.50 a month. Sign up. Anything happens between basically Monday and next Monday, really. No, sorry, Monday and Friday we cover on the bonus pod, and then we do the kind of the weekend stuff on the Monday. So if you want to hear more of this, click the link in the description. Again, that is patreon.com/unknown nonsense podcast. Sign up, become an ultra member of the pod, and get all the extra bonus stuff that happens during the week. For everyone else, we will see you next week. More frauds discovered. You know,
yeah.
Manager sack race will probably begin in week 2 after 2 losses on the bounce for Keith Andrews.
Yeah, I was going to say the sack race could be over next week, depending on how things go. We've also got the story of the summer, as it, I wouldn't say rolls on, but I don't know what's slower than rolling, but Isak is just...
Oh yeah, you'd never forget him, wouldn't you? I'm
not going to play for Newcastle anymore. And they're saying, fine, you won't then.
Well, do you know who Newcastle play next?
Liverpool, I'm going to assume.
Liverpool, yeah. I mean, will we get Isak in the crowd? I mean, it's in St. James Park, so that would be suicidal, I think, to be in the crowd like a pair of Gucci sunglasses.
Yeah. Don't go to that game, Isak. I mean, no. Can they put him on the bench? Are they allowed to do that? Force him to come?
Ooh, I mean, you might be in breach of contract then if you're like we're asking to play and then you don't show up. I don't know how that works, but look, that will, like, say, rumble on. I think rumble is a better word for it now. It's getting a bit nasty. It's getting a bit okay. This isn't good.
Yeah, it'll screech along with its claws on the floor.
Yeah, so we might be covering that midweek or next week or maybe never at all. You might just start playing for them again. But whatever happens, we'll see you next week. So yeah, have a great week. Good luck.
Good luck.
No, honestly, that is nonsense. Nonsense. All nonsense.
They say many garbage things.
You don't know what you're going to get.
Melodrama!